Today I wanted to talk about
the effects of marijuana on the teenage brain. Ooh.
marijuana has been a hot topic. Everybody knows it cures everything from cancer to AIDS, and it has absolutely zero side effects.
Ain't nothing wrong with little marijuana.
Despite all of the obvious benefits, there's risks. There are certainly risks to marijuana use. And it's not getting discussed. It's getting overshadowed by the excitement and the hype of marijuana getting passed left and right. Oh, it's in every store. Well, there are side effects, and I wanted to talk about the one that's recently just been coming out. Study after study is just proving this. And it's about the effects of marijuana on a developing brain.
Don't talk like that, man. Marijuana is totally clean, man. It's good, man. It's God's herb, man. You just smoke it, just grows right out the ground. It doesn't do nobody no harm.
In fact, there have been a number of studies on how marijuana impacts developing minds. And they all seem to lead to the same conclusion, that it does alter the child mind, and this continues on through adulthood. On January 14th of 2019, a study was released by the Larney College of Medicine at the University of Vermont, and it studied about 46 teenagers who had reported using marijuana once or twice. Now, I'm sure that a couple of them were avid smokers of it. Do you expect a teenager to tell you, no, I've only smoked it once or twice. I don't do it every day. Just once or twice. I mean, come on. The study showed that there was an increased mass of gray matter volume, especially in the amygdala, which is responsible for fear response, as well as memory and spatial recognition. Consuming just one or two joints seems to change gray matter volumes in these young adolescents. The implication is that this is potentially a consequence of cannabis use. You are changing your brain with just one or two joints. Most people likely assume that one or two joints would have no impact on the brain. What the increased brain matter volume means is unclear. Typically at that age, Garvin says, the adolescent brain undergoes a pruning process where it gets thinner rather than thicker as it refines its synaptic connections.
What? Marijuana won't hurt you, not even a little bit. It's totally safe. 100% safe, man. It's really far out, man. I'll tell you what, I got some good stuff, man. Got this whole thing for $500, but if you want a little nickel bag, a little dime bag, you ain't got much money, I'll just say a little pinch. A little pinch right off the top. Little nickel, you want a little nickel? Little nickel bag? Yeah, you want a little nickel, man?
November 6th from the University of Chicago, Illinois. Adolescent cannabis use alters development of planning and self-controlled brain areas. So this study talks about the effects of the prefrontal cortex rather than the amygdala. So this study basically says the adolescent cannabis use alters development and planning of self-controlled brain areas funded by some drug abuse group. So, but this is about the prefrontal cortex. And we already have this other study, which was not funded publicly by anyone, and it appears to have clear impacts on the amygdala. So we're seeing consistently that developing brains are actually impacted by very little use of marijuana. October 3rd, 2018, Université de Montréal. Teen cannabis use is not without risk to cognitive development. Yet another study on the same type of thing. 3,826 Canadian adolescents over a period of 4 years. The study found that vulnerability to cannabis and alcohol use in adolescents was associated with generally low performance on all cognitive domains. So this study is suggesting something broader. Conrad said of the study, However, further increases in cannabis use, but not alcohol consumption, showed additional concurrent and lagged effects on cognitive functions, such as perceptual reasoning, memory recall, working memory, and inhibitory control.
Oh, man. Saturn, man. Whoa. Whoa, man. I'm gonna go there. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's the stars and the galaxy and the whole thing. The universe is flat, man. This is the kind of shit you see when you smoke weed, man. The universe is flat, man.
Working memory and memory recall, that's kind of the same thing that the other study, the first one, was suggesting. This was a much broader study done on over 3,000 children.
Whoa, man, you want to feel this shit, man? Come on, man. Don't listen to that guy. Don't listen to him. I got a little pinch for you. A little pinch will do you. Little pinch. You just pull a pinch right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Finally, the fourth study I want to go over. August 21st, 2018, largest brain study of 62,454 scans identifies drivers of brain aging. Schizophrenia, cannabis use, and alcohol abuse are just several disorders that are related to accelerated brain aging. So this study is suggesting that this study is from just long-term use of cannabis or alcohol or schizophrenia. I don't know why it's listed like it's a choice. Have an effect on the aging brain. Cannabis use accelerated the aging process by 2.8 years. And they did this over 128 brain regions. So they really studied a lot of, we're talking about 62,000 people. Scans of more than 30,000 individuals from 9 months old to 105 years old. Co-investigator Shashit Egon, Google Inc. from Google. This paper represents an important step forward in our understanding of how the brain operates throughout the lifespan, and results indicate that we can predict an individual's age based on the patterns of cerebral blood flow. Additionally, groundwork has been laid to further explore how common psychiatric disorders can influence healthy patterns of cerebral blood flow. So they're linking this aging to several different things in regards to the ability of blood to flow around the brain. And they don't really get into the mechanisms in any other studies, so maybe part of that is linked.
Flat Earth is a conspiracy, man. Oh my God. Oh my God, the flat earthers and the globe earthers are in it together. The whole universe is flat. The whole universe is flat, man.
All right there, bud. See you next time.
Meow, 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 meow. This is the kind of shit you see when you smoke this, man. I'm telling you, it's kind of Oh, you are so good, dude. God, dude. Some good shit. Makes you cough. Gets you real high. Gets you real high, like. Oh man, that's good feeling. I feel so good. Climb off. Take a pinch free. No pinch bars. Here, this thing. It's for you. Shove that right in your nose. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Marijuana for everyone, man. Yeah.
Goodbye.